Hello and welcome to the Jenkins Journey. I am Ayana Trisha Jenkins, bringing you your monthly video for Make Sense Finances. I am heading to work right now, trying to improvise and get this video out for March. I know we're in the middle of a crisis. Thank God. So grateful that I'm still working. I know that a lot of people are being laid off right now. Whoever can work from home is working from home. Stop complaining and be grateful. You're still working. Be grateful. There's a lot of people that's affected right now, and I just wanted to put out a video for this month to just kind of help everyone keep their mind. It's hard in the middle of a crisis to actually stay focused and not worry. That's a natural human reaction when stuff go wrong. And so I just wanted to, put out a few nuggets to just help you make the best decisions during these times. I saw a recession coming for a few months ago. I definitely been calling it. Of course, like usually around every 10 years, you'll see where the economy just crashes. People lose jobs, companies start losing money, stocks go down. Like, it's been a repetitive cycle. I actually benefited from the last recession that we had in 2012. I was able to purchase a 3-bed, 2.5-bath townhouse, my first home, for $80,000. And so there's a downside, but then there's an upside when in the middle of a recession. But during the financial crisis, just helping people to stay focused and make the right decisions. So I'm just going to put a few nuggets. I won't be long. Step one, I'm going to say, don't panic. It is easy to say, harder to do, but plan instead of panicking. When you plan, you don't panic, because the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, well, I planned for a rainy day, so I know what to do during these times. Okay? This is, if you go back to the video that I had, the last video for February, the topic was financial tips, like for income tax tips. One of the things that I stated was to overpay on certain bills that you have. During this time, when you do lose an income, you don't have to worry about, okay, well, how am I going to pay the light bill? How will I pay my car insurance? What's going to happen? It just helps during times of crisis. That's what it's for. If you have an emergency fund, this is where it comes in. This is an emergency. You lose your job, this is an emergency. This is where it comes in, and it's helpful. Do your research. One of the things I will say is contact creditors. A lot of people we don't speak to the creditors. You reach out to them when you want to get approved for credit, but then after that, you don't have a conversation with them to say, hey, I'm going through a hard time and I can't afford to make this payment. You have to be able to communicate with them and say, okay, this is what I'm going through. This is what's going on. Mortgage companies, call the mortgage companies, see what programs they're offering during these times. I know for my mortgage company, even though we're not affected right now, I want to know, what do we have and what are our options? And they actually offer to put your mortgage in forbearance, and so they still want their money. However, they're offering to where you can actually you won't get interest or late fees if you don't pay it by the first when it's due. Okay? And to me, that's helpful. That is definitely like, okay, so that's one less thing that you have to worry about. Like, okay, well, I have to have this by blah, blah, blah. Even though you may have the money, but then it takes the strain off, because now you have kids that aren't going to school. You have more that you have to put into groceries. If you wanted to move that money around and say, okay, well, I'll use this for groceries and I'll pay this with that, like you have a little bit of freedom. The other thing is student loans. A lot of people have student loan debt. Call them. They are actually now deferring student loans, no interest and no payment due, and they'll actually do that for 6 months. I saw this, and then my brother actually called and got his deferred. they're not giving you a hard time during this time. They know what's going on, and they understand, and they actually want to help you. So before you take this time and to ruin your credit by not responding, this would be a good time to actually reach out and, make these arrangements with them, so that if something comes up, or if you're already affected, that you're not in addition to that you're actually going to ruin your credit because you didn't reach out and just make a phone call to say, hey, I can't afford to pay right now. And a lot of the companies too, you don't even have to speak with anyone because they're getting so many phone calls. A lot of that stuff can be done online. Okay. Next thing, the act, I guess, whatever it is that the president signed that they agreed on, a lot of people know, okay, yes, they're going to give out stimulus checks. Not only are they sending out money to whoever qualified to be able to get it, because I guess if you make over a certain amount of money, then they're deducting, you're going to get less. However, not only are they doing that, there's also a family act, right? So for the people that have kids, which is pretty much so many of us that have kids that are at home that can't go to school, they are actually offering a family leave act that would cover a parent. Okay, so you would actually take, just like how FMLA would cover you for 12 weeks, you would now be covered under a family leave act because the kids are at home, you can't go. But this one will be with pay. It won't be your full paycheck. It will be 2/3 of your check. However, if your finances, if you are able to get that done, if that's something that you can work with, that's something that you might need to look into and get with your employer. I know that there's paperwork that you have to fill out, but just think of it as an FMLA, but with partial pay. Okay. And when you do get this stimulus money, me personally, if you're not saving it, then I would look into, using it for stuff that okay, your light bill is going to go up. These kids are at the house. If you didn't have internet before, you're having to get internet because the kids have to do online schooling for now. For the people that have to work at home, you need your internet to be able to work from home. So it's just different things. I wouldn't necessarily use that to pay any bills. Okay. I would use it more for expenses. So the other thing too, I'll just leave one last nugget. The thing for me, with the banks. So I've been banking with the same bank for the past over 10 years. Okay. Never had an issue with them. I love their checking account, no issues. Saving account, no issues. Recently, they merged with another bank, and I pay attention to stuff like this. I noticed that they were charging me for making transactions between my saving and my checking account. And the first time I let it slide, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I know I can make 6 transactions is what they tell you. And I was like, maybe it was the amount, whatever. I let it slide. Then the next, a couple of days later, I had to make another transfer. And my thing is, it's my money. I'm not going to pay you to be able to transfer my own money from my account. So they charged me again. So I was like, okay, enough is enough. I'm making a phone call. I call them and they tell me that, it's supposed to be 6 transactions. I'm like, okay, well, I only made 4. Okay. And y'all had already charged me 2 fees. So they said, okay, well, for courtesy, we're able to refund you one of the fees back. And I said, okay, do me this favor. How about you transfer my money out and close the account? She was like, well, I can do that, but it's going to charge you. Have to wait. And then it's going to charge you another fee. And I said, okay, what you're not going to do first, get your manager on the phone, because I want this account closed. I'm not going to pay you. I said, especially in times like this, I'm not going to be charged to use my own money. So she was like, okay, well, I'll put in a request to close the account. She was like, just call the next day. And I ended up calling the next day, and I'm like, listen, I spoke to this person. She should have put a note. What I want you to do is close this saving account and transfer my money over. So finally, after going back and forth with them and saying, okay, well, I need a manager, and they don't want to transfer you to a manager. So they ended up doing it and not charging me an additional fee. And honestly, for me right now, I had 2 different saving accounts. A high interest paying saving account, which my sister had informed me, like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. Get one of these. And mine is with Capital One. They pay you a higher interest, and it's compound interest, and it's monthly. You'll actually see the money. It's not 0.0001 like the regular saving accounts that you have. You actually get money for saving with them. And a lot of different banks have it. It's just you just have to do your research and look it up and see what the rates are going for right now. But I had that, but prior to then, I had already still had, for the past 10 years, had my regular saving account. And so the regular saving account, as you know, barely pay you any interest. I think you get a penny per quarter, every 3 to 4 months, 1 penny. So in my mind, I'm just like, okay, well, I don't need this. Okay. I was only keeping it open because it was already open. So when they did this, it just kind of opened a light for me. And just be more mindful, you guys. Like, reach out and look. I get alerts with my accounts to see daily balances. Be informed during these times, because these banks are hurting, and wherever they can make this extra money back that they're losing, they will get over on you. And if you don't call and if you don't say anything, then you're going to be affected. So I just went ahead and I told them, look, close it. And I went to the bank and I took it out. And during these times, and I'm going to keep saying during these times because it's a pandemic, you don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long it's going to last. I would much rather save my cash, because my best friend actually told me a few days ago that she went to the ATM and it said, due to the coronavirus, like they're not even allowing withdrawals. And I was like, what? So that blew me. Okay. Because now you can't even get access to your own money. So that definitely, threw me. So what I did, and I can't, recommend that anyone do this, but I know it worked for me and I'm at peace because I know where my money is and I know you can't charge me to use it. I just went ahead and withdrew my savings, and I said, I'll put this back in my cash box where I was comfortable saving prior. Okay. And just don't lose hope, you guys. It's easier said than done. I definitely understand it. And I'm grateful that financially we have not been affected, but we planned for stuff like this. Okay. And then this is where it comes in, why it's important for you to save. Why it's important for that when you do have money, that you pay up some of the bills in advance. There's another thing that I actually saw for the people that's working at home. I saw for the car insurance that you can actually get a reduced rate. They don't tell us these things. If you drive 50 miles or less and you live in a certain area, I sent out a request and asked our insurance company, like, okay, is this something that we qualify for? Because I want my discount. But if you drive 50 miles or less a day, you actually qualify for a discount that will reduce your insurance rate. You'll still have full coverage, but if you drive 7,500 miles or less a year, which I did the calculations on that, and I think it would be about 650 miles a month. So just research it, reach out to them, ask them. This is the time where every penny that you can save, everything that you can cut back on, whatever you can do to lighten the load, lighten it. Stay prayed up. For my household, I'll tell you, we are tithers. We will continue to give our tithe because that's where the blessing is at. God is covering his people. I am blessed and unbothered still in the midst of it. And I just wanted to be an encouragement to someone. I got to get into work while I still have my job. I am going to head in. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been brought to you by Make Sense Finances. Reach out to me if you need any individual help. I am here. Love you guys and have a great day. Stay safe and stay prayed up. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.